And once again, as I just mentioned, this news just came down. The sentencing for the former BART transit cop, Johannes Mehserle. He was sentenced the minimum sentence of 2 years in state prison for the shooting of 22-year-old Oscar Grant. And this is indeed an explosive situation, with many supporters of Oscar Grant saying essentially police have been given the license to kill. Now, this story is, of course, a bigger one. It's got historic implications that perhaps the system is still broken. Here to talk more about this is Imam Abdul Ali Musa, director of the Masjid Al-Islam Mosque, both in D.C. and also in Oakland.
Yes,
paint me a picture right now. Let's go to this scene in Oakland. This sentencing came down moments ago. What is going on there?
Well, when it originally happened, we had quite a few demonstrations in Oakland. Most of them were peaceful, but there were some instigators around to cause some problems, so that the attention would be taken off the frustration of the people and placed on violence. You see what I mean? To divert the attention. But this officer at the Fruitvale BART station, actually, it was on video, it was on phone tape, that he just shot the brother while he was on the ground, and I think he might have even been handcuffed. And that's it, 2-year sentence for murder.
Now, some disturbing pictures have come out of this. As you just mentioned, the video of the actual shooting happened, but we have seen some pretty angry protests. People taking to the streets, a peaceful protest that ended up getting somewhat violent. People are angry. People are frustrated. Pictures that we haven't seen since Rodney King. Right. What, if anything, has changed since Rodney King?
Nothing. In fact, the police have a freer hand nowadays with terrorism, with suspicion, with all of these things. They have probable cause has a low threshold. And so the police can almost shoot on sight and they're not held accountable. This is worse than almost in the 60s because the people would rise up more. Right now, there's shootings all over the country. One of our brothers, Imam Lukman, was assassinated by the FBI this time last year, clear assassination. And nothing happened.
Imam Musa, I want to talk about this element of fear that's involved here. I mean, businesses today have boarded up their properties, their windows for fear of riots. However, this is something bigger. Punishing this officer with the minimum sentence, a lot of people think that the purpose of this is to keep the residents of Oakland, particularly the black community, in a state of fear. What do you think about this?
Okay, that might be their goal, but the residents of Oakland is not a fearful community. The residents of Oakland, the only thing is you could see the way they protest. This happened in other cities, very few protests. Protests are constant, ongoing, full of churches, full of civic leaders. All the protests that I attended in Oakland were all well attended by high quality people and people that were activists, people that were ministers. Even there was some police there, to tell you the truth.
So then how does this end? I mean, will the people of Oakland rise up in revolution, or will things go back to sort of how they were?
They'll probably go back the way they were because it's not constant enough. The people rise up for an hour or a day or a couple of weeks and finished. In order to resolve this, you have to change the whole system. Because what we learned from the 60s, I was in Oakland with the Black Panther Party, so I understand even if you get some relief from the Constitution, it doesn't make any difference because as soon as the camera's off, they go right back to doing the same thing. So you have to change the whole infrastructure in order to get any justice at all.
And that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, who's to blame for this? I mean, we can blame Officer Mehserle, but there's kind of a bigger issue at hand here.
Well, it's a whole historical process. The people that run the country want to keep the people locked in their Bantustands, and that's what they do. And they lock you in the Bantustan and fill it up with drugs and alcohol. Right, all the liquor stores are all in the black neighborhood mostly, and they load you up with drugs, keep you quiet, and abuse you from time to time to remind you who you are. So change comes when the whole society stands up regularly on a constant basis, not on a one-night, two-night stand. That's the solution to the problem. Fix the whole system.
You are a leader in your community, in your mosque. What do you tell your people when situations like this arise? I mean, what's the advice?
Well, I have a little demonstration we're doing here. I was arrested the other day. We have more contact with the police, I believe, than anybody, probably in the U.S. This is an open letter to the D.C. police. I was arrested 2 days ago when they blocked off 2 sisters. One was my wife, and they blocked them off, had the SWAT team out, and they called me on the phone. So when I went down there and asked about it, they arrested me. But in the meantime, I had a chance to talk to the people. They stop us if we're running in the park, anything. It's a type of harassment. And so what we do, I just talked to our people today about it. What we do is we caution the people about how to deal with themselves. We call it a type of psychological warfare, so we have a counter psychological warfare. They mess with us. Here's a program, one of them we had, it's called How to Punk the FBI. We said there ain't nothing but a bunch of punks and cowards. If you stand up to them, that's all they can do, because freedom of speech, we know the limits. If you stand up to them, you'll back them off of you, and they'll keep you on a low level of problems. So we make everything very vocal. We bring it out in open. Therefore, they can't shoot me by accident, or we thought his glasses was a gun. Why? Because we keep it in the public's face every day. That's our way of dealing with it, and we stand up to them.
So the bottom line, continue the fight.
You got to struggle.
All right, Imam Abdul Ali Musa, director of the Masjid al-Islam Mosque, thank you as always for joining us.
Thank you very much.